welcome to my channel. I'm Solasen. This is the Untamed Oracle. This is Sugar. This is Sugar, and she's going to be part of our reading today. And there's a really strong message. I'm going to let Sugar sit in her bed, so say goodbye. Sugar's now in her bed, so she's all happy right beside me. So there's a really strong message coming in from Spirit today, and I wanted to do a reading on it. You are part of the greatest love story ever told. You are part of the greatest love story ever told. Who I'm speaking to right now, but there's really strong message. It has to do with freedom, sovereignty, autonomy, finding your love of self again. A life without the harness of vigilance is what I'm hearing. A life without the harness of vigilance, without striving, without proving. The family room. So I'm getting like the archetypal energy of a soul orphan, and I'm getting that you were raised in a family where you felt shame for enjoying what you enjoyed. You felt shame for being who you were. Maybe you were a little neurodivergent, or maybe you just didn't fit the mold in your family. You were kind of like the black sheep of some kind. And you felt guilt. I'm also got the coffin, and like the soul orphan energy is coming up. And so I think you learned vigilance in your family dynamic, in this family room, wherever you grew up. Constant alert, constant vigilance, constant proving, and feeling like you had to constantly give effort. And then guilt if you relaxed or you did something fun, and then shame too. It wasn't the right thing that you liked. So also with this, there's an internalized mother wound or the mother complex, and it has kept you in anxiety a lot of your life. You might have been diagnosed with anxiety or depression, PTSD, but you've been under the gaze. So with this is like a false woman that's coming up. It's a false feminine. It's the feminine with internalized misogyny, you could say, or she is kind of like has internalized, she's the epitome, it's an archetype in our culture. So it could be your mother, it could be a feminine figure, a woman in your life, but it's also like the cultural gaze that you get from women, of like being good, being self-sacrificial, being, if you're only worthy if you're striving, and if you have perfection, or you're perfecting something, and you're caretaking and taking care of others, and rest is laziness, pleasure is selfish. So I'm getting that, and you've learned to navigate your way through this, but so you've learned how to adapt. Your nervous system has learned how to adapt, and you have been vigilant and striving, hence why you've had the anxiety for a lot of your life. But there's a really strong message. You are coming through to this place of liberation, of where you can feel safe, where you can feel whole, at ease, restored. You can be yourself. You can just be your quirky self. That it's safe, and that you don't have to keep striving. And this is the greatest love story. Okay, I'm gonna pull some more cards from this is like, whoo. Because you grew up feeling a lot of guilt for who you were, shame. You felt different. How do you become free? Your community reflected back a version of you that was only partial. And as a result, you learn to keep trying. Like you learn to, like I'm hearing mask, like not in a mask to deceive, but a mask you had to wear just so that you could function with the community and the family that you were in, the culture. you really were, your community, whether it might have been a religious community as well, where you had to, I'm getting like, I'm hearing time, like hurry, work, strive, make it, like do it, be enough. Like I'm getting this relentless energy, or it brought that up in you because you felt like to survive, you had to. It was almost like this internalized anxiety and stress. And I keep getting, so you're in that transformation. I pulled a fairy card because I love fairies and that's part of my inner child. But this is transformation. You are transforming from how your nervous system was conditioned to fight and fawn. I'm getting this is where my therapist background comes in, but there's 4 nervous system responses: fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. But I'm getting this energy like you learn to strive, you learn to effort, you learn to move yourself through life with kind of like that fight instinct, and it kept you like running towards your goals, or you felt that way anyways. Maybe you had a bit of the freeze too, and maybe that's why you were shamed in your family. But also fawn, that's like the mask to get to blend in with your community without being exiled. But with this transformation card, you're kind of doing the shadow work by going into the depths of what has happened so you're safe now. Like you can transform into a different way of being. Sometimes we have our original wound or our original culture or system that kind of trains our nervous system to respond in a certain way. And when we do therapy or we do shadow work, we go back and we discover like the root, like what was the original wound that caused this. But then you can do like reparenting around that wound itself. But then you still have the nervous system response that you've been like repeating and repeating and repeating over and over and over. So it's like you still have to train your nervous system to learn how to exit that vigilant state, to be able to taste safety and pleasure. And I'm hearing that was then, this is now. That was then, this is now. So this community that you were raised in, this family, I don't have the family card in front of me anymore, but the male influence, the father, it might have been, maybe both, maybe a father complex and a mother complex, like a community. But you're getting, now it's time that this is the time to now you do not have to do that anymore. Your nervous system can learn a different way to allow you to be yourself now and create fortune, because that you're in the flow of abundance when you are in your authentic energy. You are in the divine feminine flow, which brings fortune. And that's what allows you to also have a sort of physical ease. Maybe you've had to work super hard to make it financially, and that's been part of this like fight response to just keep going, the striving, the vigilance, like constant alert. Am I going to lose money? Am I going to lose over here? But you're moving a different way. You're safe now, and you're loved beyond striving. You're loved beyond striving. You're on a new direction. You're going to the distant horizons where you never dreamed possible before. Like you kind of, actually, okay, I take that back. I think you did dream. But I think that I think at some point the dreamer in you, maybe the childlike dreamer in you, kept you going, kept you having hope for something. But then you got so busy just trying to survive and get ahead and like proving yourself that you lost sight of that. But now you're transmuting and transforming. This is you working with your nervous system. For some reason, I see that. Like this is you, like your higher self, and kind of like working to create something in the 3D world, like your body, a change in your body, because we can know, our spirit can kind of come to terms with things, but our bodies are still kind of in that state, our nervous system. And so that's why, you'll feel like you were fine, like you worked through it, you talked through something, but then your body, as soon as that trigger comes up, like responds, like it's like if you're going to die or something. And so this is what you're transmuting with the Magician card. This is what you're transmuting. You're creating safety. It is safe now for you to kind of like get out your past with this orange color for some reason, and it has like the star, the 5 elements. Like this is like creation, like the sacral chakra. And it's like you have created, your inner masculine has created a world of safety for you, or you're en route. You are doing that right now, creating that. So like the sacral chakra, creative energy can come forth. Like all the things you used to be interested in, all the things that were silly, that not silly to you, but silly to other people, or they didn't think it was worth your time, or it was just a waste of time when you should be getting good grades, you should be working harder, you should have, blah, 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 but whatever the shoulds are. But now you're moving towards your 10 of Cups, and you're really feeling like you're able to live in the energy that you want, that feels sustainable to you, that feels like you are safe to discover yourself, to be yourself, to be fully resourced, to feel safe in your body, like to have like that muscle tension, like relax and rest, truly. To be able to exhale, be able to read a book in the middle of the day that was just for fun, not because you have to. Be able to sit down and pet your dog and have some tea and just be and discover, like, how do you might not know who you are under your mask fully. You might not know who you are. You might not understand like that the depths of your heart side. The water, though, I'm getting the water card with, I don't know how to say her name. This is a goddess card with water and communion, Ishtar. So these different parts of you, because you have learned and you're learning how to become like that stable protector that you didn't have, maybe, that gives you permission just to be and delights in who you are, that energy that just delights in your beingness, not what you're doing, what you're proving, but just who you are, and your quirks and how you talk and how you laugh and what interests you and all those things, that you are becoming that part, and you're able to now create a safety so you can feel your 10 of Cups, you can see the other side of you, that you maybe had to go underground. Because I'm hearing you are the love of your life. You have been through it with the soul orphan energy, and this is truth. This is truth coming out. You have been through it, and with that, you have gained great depth of character, and great depth of like emotional humanness, like you've had heartbreak, and with each heartbreak you have, it takes you to deeper places as a human being. But you also had this integrity, you also had this part that was good to your core, and you are moving into, and so, oh my goodness, okay. Wow, you are the love of your life, because you have gone to the depths, and only you can really love yourself and know what you went through and what you survived, and be your witness. I mean, another person can appreciate it to a degree, but you know, and you are going to be the one that knows exactly what feels good to you in this next phase of life, in this radical softness. Like, you get to just tune right into all the parts of you and ask and know and intuit what you need and what you want. I'm getting astrology. So when you're trying to discover who you are, you have secrets. You have secret parts of you, and you're not aware of all your parts. I don't know if you're familiar with internal family systems, but if you're interested in psychology and therapy, I recommend you check internal family systems out and identifying all your parts. But I feel like with astrology, because I'm hearing astrology and stars, like the stars, the constellations, like, I don't know, your north node, your south node, your Venus, those ones are standing out to me. as far as what because you have learned how to be a little bit of a chameleon, to be adaptable, which is a strength, because you've learned the strategy to fit in and to be able to navigate and to be able to create the safety that you're building. Because there's been a lot of false people around you. And I get two messages with this, like almost like the false feminine energies around. And then I think this is you representing, you're wearing a mask, but you've been observing these false people. And that's why I think you don't want to be false, and you're not, but like, we don't know what we don't know. If we haven't met all the parts of us and learned how to identify them, we're wearing a mask, not out of deception, but just because we aren't aware. And so to learn, like, okay, you know, in this phase of life, it's like taking off mask by mask. Like, what is this part of me? Where does this come from? Is this like a root part, or did this part develop in me so I can manage other things or survive other things? Because the soul orphan, you've had to do what you had to do to survive, because you've been in poverty state, child, right on the bottom of the deck. So I'm gonna get a mystical shaman oracle card to add to this. But to discovering who you are, internal family systems, your astrology, if you've heard of Myers-Briggs personality test, that one is good, or your Enneagram, your human design, like those all are lenses that you put on your eyes, and you can kind of look and see your personality through them from one lens, and then you take those off and then you put another lens on, maybe it's astrology, and then you kind of take off all your glasses. Eventually you see it's like many parts, many aspects help kind of make you intuitively understand yourself. I'm getting Jaguar too. This is actually one that shows up in my dreams a lot. And so maybe that's a message for me. But, you know, actually, yeah, that's a message because you guys, I'm remembering this year, it was like 4 years ago, I kept dreaming about wild animals. Like I would dream of tigers, jaguars, panthers, lions, a lot of lions, bears, animals. And so that's a way. So if you have dreams, or what archetypes keep showing up, when you're walking around living life, do you keep seeing the same kind of bird? Do you keep seeing, or you know, like a dragonfly, or you see certain numbers? Like those are ways to kind of like explore other aspects of yourself, like other archetypes that are speaking to you. So there's lots of ways to discover who you are. But that's the thing with this radical softness way that you're going to be reparenting yourself, radical softness. That's what I keep hearing. You're going to discover more and more about yourself over time, and learning that you're deserving now. And you're in this massive soul retrieval process because you are the love of your life, and this is the greatest love story ever told. Truly, is discovering yourself and witnessing yourself in all the stages and all the ages that you were, and to get to know all those parts of yourself so intimately, because that is what brings you to the 10 of Cups, that ultimate full feeling in your heart. And that is the greatest love story, truly, is coming home to yourself, and coming home to yourself and understanding yourself with such depth, to know what it feels like to be in your own energy and feel so resourced, so seen, so special, so safe. That was then, this is now, and this is your story now. And you do definitely had the history of the soul orphan, and that is real. But we are creators. You are the magician. You can change. You can shift. What your story was in the past does not have to be the whole story. And this is now. And whenever you find those judgments, whenever you feel that judgment, send it love. Whenever you feel guilt for spending money on yourself for something that is just because, and you feel guilt and shame because it's not practical, send it love. Send each of those parts love each time. And that is how you reparent with radical softness. So I love you so much. Thank you for this message, letting me transmit this message to you because it's really filled my soul too. And you are very special human on the other side. Well, are you human? You might be, you might be not. But I love you, and until next time.